So the reasoning models kind of came up with this inference time compute thing. So before that, what was happening is you would pre-train the model quite a bit, and then the model knows a lot of things. You ask the model to do something. It is one shot. You ask it once, and the model is going to give the answer. It is one shot. That's it. With the reasoning models, what happened is you can ask for something, and these models started breaking down your asks into subtasks and then kind of do the task again and again and again and again to a point where during the inference time, during the computation time, it is taking more and more cycles, generating more and more tokens to kind of generate the right answer.
Hi, my name is Dimitri Panici, and I'm a content creator, agency owner, and AI enthusiast. You're listening to the AI Agents Podcast, brought to you by Jotform, and featuring our very own CEO and founder, Ida Tank. This is the show where artificial intelligence meets innovation, productivity, and the tools shaping the future of work. Enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the AI Agents Podcast. I'm here with Arjun Pillai, the co-founder of Docket IO. How are you doing today, Arjun?
Great, Dimitri. Thanks for having me. Excited to do this.
Yeah, thanks for being on the call. It's been a few weeks since we did the pre-chat, but I'm really excited to get into it. We're going to be talking today about how you can crush your critical go-to-market targets with powerful AI agents, as your tagline says. No, but in all seriousness, give us a little bit of insight as to just a short story behind how you got into AI agents, and then obviously focusing on what you guys are doing over there at Docket.io.
Yeah, I've been in the sales tech, MarTech space for a little over 13 years now, good or bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Docket is actually my third company. My first company was a sales intelligence company back in 2012. I was 23 at that time. Yeah, so I graduated, worked for like just about a year, resigned, and started a company. So when you're super young and stupid, you don't know what you are getting into. It is easier to start a company, right? So if I really knew what a startup is, I probably wouldn't have. It's so tough. But anyway, so that's how I got in. Sales intelligence was not a space. I was in India, in Kerala. That's the state, southwestern state of India.
Sure. Yep.
Then yeah, I built that company. We grew to 72 people. I sold it to a company in Denver in 2016. They moved me over here. And I was already into data, sales tech, and MarTech, a little bit of predictive AI, some bit of predictive analytics, some sentiment analytics, all the, pre-LLM AI and machine learning stuff. So I had a little bit of an exposure. Then I did another company that was into conversational sales and marketing that had a little bit of AI again. Then I sold that company to ZoomInfo. Many of you might know it. It's a NASDAQ listed public company. They are the biggest when it comes to sales tech, MarTech, data tech primarily. I mean, sales tech, maybe Salesforce is the biggest. So I was there. I built the account-based marketing platform for them. That had a lot of AI because bidding, optimization, everything is machine learning. Not LLM AI, but the more predictive AI. Then I was the chief data officer of ZoomInfo. Again, a lot of machine learning, AI stuff, things like that. The data science team reported up to me. Then started Docket. It was the time when GPT-3 was 3.5 was just starting to happen. AI was happening thick and fast. So that's the kind of rough background, right? I've always been in this domain. And then I've been fortunate to kind of play around with some of the AI things in the past. And when AI was happening, since I was in the right place at the right time, I saw when it was coming. That's pretty much the story.
Very cool. No, that's a great start to the conversation, right? And, now just getting into it a little bit more, what was the, catalyst that started your current company with your co-founder?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a startup guy. I always like starting up. I always like solving a problem, building a team. The journey is the destination when it comes to a startup. There is a learning that happens every single day, every single hour. And I've been always a lover of that journey in a startup. It's very peaceful for me. So that's the reason for starting up. But then specifically Docket, the problem statement that I saw while at ZoomInfo and also pretty much all the companies prior to that, and also with the revenue leaders that I've been talking to, if you take any company, roughly, actually less than 10% of the go-to-market knowledge is ever documented in a company. You talk about the document of sales and marketing knowledge in a company, it's less than 10%. The other 90% lives in unstructured data like a call recording or a Slack chat or something like that, or lives in somebody's head. This is your product people, product marketing people, sales engineers. When I was looking at this, you need this go-to-market knowledge for the sellers to perform and the buyers to buy, right? So it's just a no-brainer to have this thing together. But until language models came along, this was a super hard problem. You couldn't solve this problem of this largely unstructured data, and then generating knowledge out of the unstructured data was not solvable. So when GPT 3.5 was happening, I was like, this is potentially the first time in the history where this problem can be solved, and we can build out a knowledge graph that is grounded on a particular enterprise's knowledge, and that in that enterprise you can have a salesperson get access to the information and the buyers can get access to the same information, powered by the same, today we call it sales knowledge lake, but basically the fundamental same data lake. So that's the rationale behind Docket, and that's what we have been executing over the last 2 years.
Yeah, so I guess kind of explain a little bit more. I think maybe people could understand how and why it would require large language models to exist for this to kind of take place, but explain a little bit more like what they ended up solving problem-wise.
Absolutely. So take sales, right? When a new buyer is coming, the typical things that they want to know, let's say at the top of the funnel, at the awareness consideration stages of the buying journey, what we have seen is there is about 20% of the questions that get asked 95% of the time. What is your pricing? How do you price? What are your how are you different from this competition? Do you integrate with Salesforce? Do you have SOC 2? Like you take a set of the top 100 questions. Those questions are getting asked like 95% of the time at the top of the funnel. And then as you get into the details kind of increases a little bit, but there is still a clear Pareto principle, right? There's 20% of the question that get asked 80% of the time. So if you look at all the call recordings that are happening in the company, if you are looking at the right Slack channels happening in the company, if you look at the sales enablement collaterals, if you look at the RFPs, if you look at the website, I explained like 6 sources. There's probably 4 more sources like Jira or Confluence or Zendesk or Salesforce. Look at these 10 or 12 sources in any given enterprise. You have the knowledge there. The tribal knowledge in that company is all there. But the challenge is, how do you take this super noisy data? Some is super high signal, right? For example, if I'm preparing a PDF, a product marketer prepares a PDF that is high signal to noise. It's very good data. But if you look at Slack, it is super low in signals. It's mostly noise. So now you have to take all these different kinds of inputs, do a particular data processing, and then bring it into the lake. And then you have to figure out, okay, now I have got signal, which signal is accurate and which signal is inaccurate. A good example to that is, imagine a CEO says an answer to a question, and then there is a new account executive who joined last week answers the same question. I would argue the CEO's answer is probably going to be true, right? So if you know who are the SMEs in the company, and if you weigh their answers slightly higher than the rest of the tribal knowledge, then you can get into a higher accuracy. If you consistently purge out the outdated and conflicted data out of the lake, then you have better accuracy. And how do you do all of these language related things on top of the knowledge? You need a language model to do that. That's where you needed a GPT-4. To be honest, until GPT-4 landed, you couldn't solve this problem at the enterprise grade quality. After GPT-4, GPT-4o, GPT-4.5, GPT-5, and all the other like Claude and all these additional models, today we are at a point where, yes, the models are good enough for us to build for, any kind of enterprise in the world.
And would you say that, as things kind of change and improve even on the models, I know you said that we're at a good enough level for enterprise, but what maybe new unlocks have you found have come as models have improved, right? Like yesterday, to my knowledge, Claude 4.5 Sonnet just basically threw like a wrench into everyone's idea as to how good a model can be agentically and how long it can the previous record was 5 hours of autonomous work, right, for coding, and then they said 30, which it was supposed to double, not 6x. So, yeah.
I think AI is going exponential all the time, right? The exponential curve has probably slowed down a little bit, but it's still exponential. It's not linear yet.
Sure.
At some
Yeah.
point, maybe it will. Um, so, what is the biggest change that happened? I think the biggest change happened probably in September of last year when the a series of models from OpenAI came through,
Sure.
which
Oh
is the
three, oh four.
reasoning
Yeah.
models.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reasoning models kind of came up with this inference time compute thing. So before that, what was happening is you would pre-train the model quite a bit, and then the model knows a lot of things. You ask the model to do something. It is one shot. You ask it once, and the model is going to give the answer. It is one shot. That's it. With the reasoning models, what happened is you can ask for something, and these models started breaking down your asks into subtasks and then kind of do the task again and again and again and again to a point where during the inference time, during the computation time, it is taking more and more cycles, generating more and more tokens to kind of generate the right answer. So that's where the reasoning started to come through,
Sure.
to whatever extent we call it reasoning, right? So I think that has been the biggest change that happened end of last year. So the biggest one was O1, followed by DeepSeek's model kind of
Yeah.
changed the whole paradigm, right? In November, I think DeepSeek launched, and that everybody was like, "Wow, okay, this is awesome," and the cost is not much and things like that. Anyway, so that changed. So that enabled us and a lot of the other companies to start going into more of an agentic path, wherein instead of using one shot answering, we all started using agentic architecture for everything that we are doing. What that essentially means is rather than just asking the LLM to do one task, you are now starting to give a responsibility to the agent. And the agent is also responsible for taking, understanding the responsibility, deciding which are the tasks, executing the tasks, calling the right tools, and getting the whole outcome delivered. Right? That's the big shift. And I don't think any company has completely internalized and built on top of it yet. Cloud Code is obviously amazing. Coding is the biggest jump that happened for GPT 4.5. Sorry, Claude 4.5. But yeah, so that's the world that we live in, including us. Everybody is kind of taking that agentic architecture, rebuilding some parts of it, re-architecting some parts of our platforms.
Yeah. No, it's very cool and very exciting. I feel like every week, I have a freak out moment at this point. Like I saw that earlier today. It's funny. I was mentioning this to a video AI agent company. They, I don't know if you saw Sora 2 just was released 2 hours ago, or three. Sorry, three
Mhm.
at this point is when I found that out. And it's crazy. It's constantly developing. It's constantly improving. And as somebody who's in a company that is built foundationally to help people go to market, and I'm sure using a lot of these models in order to do so. How do you, as a founder and as a company, kind of continue to iterate and improve upon your product and stay up to date with all the newest and latest tech?
It's difficult. The source I would say is Twitter. As much as Twitter is noisy, I mean, I still call it Twitter X. Okay.
No, no, no,
Uh,
it's okay. I don't call it X. I still won't. I won't do it.
Yeah, so as much as the AI Twitter is like very, very noisy, I still think that Twitter is the place where good people are putting good content. There is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a lot of hype. Fundamentally, like people take things from Twitter and put it into ChatGPT, rewrite and post on LinkedIn. Honestly, not everybody, but
That's
yeah.
fair. No, that's a
Tweet,
common thing. It's a lot of AI slop right now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Versus Twitter, there is originality, right? People are actually coming up with things. There is pretty good discussions, specifically in the AI topic. When it comes to marketing, and there are some topics where I would say LinkedIn is the place to be, but at least in AI, it is Twitter or X. So that's where the learning starts. But then what are the things? There are two things. One is something has launched, and then how do you use that? How do you build better on top of that, and things like that. But then there are also the architectural change. How is Claude Code being developed? How is Claude developing Claude Code? Or how is OpenAI improving ChatGPT? So those are more architectural discussions, right? So as an entrepreneur or as founders building in this, we need to understand both. One is how is this latest thing going to help me? How do I build on top of it? How do I use that service? Then how did they build it so that we can start learning that build process from them? So for example, when we are architecting our platform kind of in a more agentic fashion, we are taking a lot of inspiration from how OpenAI is architecting ChatGPT, how they are using the tool calling. What are the things that they call as tools, and where do we think they are going to, and then we kind of decide, okay, this is how we should take the path. There is a third layer too. The third layer is the product direction, right? One of the things that's happening with the foundation models is they are all coming up the layer. A foundation model is not just a foundation model today. There is an app layer to it. ChatGPT has the ChatGPT app layer that has got enterprise connectors and document generation and like Sora. Like there are a bunch of things happening on ChatGPT at the application layer that is competing with a lot of startups. Similarly, Claude has a Claude code layer that is competing with the cursors and all the other coding agents layer, right? So the foundation models are also coming up the stack. And as they come up, they are killing a bunch of startups. So the third layer
I would
to
say
all
so,
of
yeah.
this change, yeah, absolutely, it's happening, right? Like video generation to your Sora example, or Google launched their video generation. I'm sure a lot of the video generation companies are like, where do we go from here? Because these guys are coming up the stack. Ad generation video companies, right? They're generating ads. But if Google can generate the ads out of the box with their foundation models, what do? We'll add workflows and all. But anyway, so that's the point. So those are the three layers that we look for. How do we use them? How are they building that so that we can build accordingly? What are the product directions that they are not taking so that we don't become a roadkill to some of these companies? Those are the three layers I'd say we think.
Roadkill. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's true. It's a good way to
Yeah.
actually put it. It's just kind of like crazy that is it's true. Sorry, it's just a funny term.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I guess, that does actually give me good context as to where to go with the rest of this, right? And when you are building out a product as it were, and attempting to not become that kind of quote roadkill, right? What can you do, and what do you believe that you do at such a really great level that compares to your competitors? And obviously you're working in both marketing and sales. I think some of the more interesting stuff that I've seen probably is from the autonomous AI seller stuff that I was checking out, use case wise. Could you kind of speak to that a little bit? I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I believe that today all the sales is I am a human selling to you as a human, right? It's
Yeah,
to H, human to human selling is
absolutely.
what is happening in the world today. But I believe that in the short term, it's already happening. There will be an iteration of the selling process where humans will become super reps because humans are getting augmented with AI. AI is enabling reps to do more. So there will be a bunch of good salespeople who are really using AI to better themselves and be very good at what they do. And then there is a second set where there is an autonomous selling. I truly believe that a lot of the sales process will be autonomous in nature. Right? Think about a $20 thing that you're buying. You don't want to talk to a salesperson, and companies cannot put a person to talk to you for $20. That'll be autonomous for sure. You will still
Yeah.
have an agent. Talk to the agent, just buy. You go to Dyson's website to buy a Dyson vacuum cleaner. Today it is just a static page. I believe that page will have a concierge agent. It's an autonomous seller who is talking to you, right? So that's what we have built at Docket. So if you go today to Docket.io, there's a marketing agent, an agent that pops up on the website. Click on it. It's going to just start talking to you with voice. So it's a truly multimodal experience where it talks to you with a combination of voice and text and images and videos. And it can kind of ask for your email. It can qualify you. It can book a meeting for you. It can take actions on your behalf. It can write back to Salesforce. Bless you.
Thank you.
So that is the autonomous selling that we are talking about, right? So we at Docket, we believe that there will be a lot of the selling that will go autonomous, and we are one of the earliest movers into that paradigm where we want to really get companies kind of understand what does autonomous selling look like, what are some of the use cases where they can deploy it without a lot of risk, and how do you kind of increase the efficiency of the go to market and experience not only for the sellers but also for the buyers.
Okay, well, you brought up something pretty interesting here that I think between us probably is understood to be a part of the AI spectrum, so to speak. But a lot of companies and even business owners are kind of at a point where I don't think they consider the multimodality of AI, right? I think we're early enough in AI where it's fair to say that most think about it from the chat, level still to some, and the text to some respect. Can you speak a little bit to the progress of voice and in that part of multimodality? Because I found it to be incredibly big in the last few months. I mean, I remember when the alpha of 11 Labs 3 dropped, I went, okay, here we are. It's here.
Yeah,
you know?
we are here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we also use 11 Labs for our text to speech layer. We believe 11 Labs is the best out there, at least right now. See, voice has been a promise for a really, really long time. Back when Steve Jobs acquired Siri in 2011, I believe, back then itself, voice was like a thing. Obviously, Steve Jobs saw it back in the day.
Yeah.
And then Google introduced the Google Home. Amazon introduced Alexa. The amount of investment that Amazon or Google, all these guys did on these voice-enabled systems that they thought is going to rule our homes, automate everything. Today you can't even see enough Alexas and Google Homes anywhere, and Amazon has like really reduced their investment in Alexa and whatnot. But so voice has been a promise for a really long time, and people were all excited about voice. So it's not like people don't think voice is a good modality. I think we communicate very normally in voice, and in a world where translation from one language to the other language is super easy, I think voice is going to be like way more better used. Like my parents can speak in Malayalam, which is our regional language, and ChatGPT can respond in Malayalam or English, right? So it's that easy today. So I think voice modality will kick in. Today it is still in the early adopter stage, but if you look at people who are using the voice mode of ChatGPT or Gemini, it is increasing, right? And I think the first place where voice modality is, we are going to be comfortable with the voice modality of AI is everywhere we have an IVR today. IVR is like call in and say, if you are this, press this button, book. That is the IVR thing that all of us know, and we wait for 20 minutes for an agent to speak with because this IVR is not understanding whatever we are telling it. So that is going to be the first place where we are going to see IVR getting replaced by amazing AI voice. And then we see contact center automation, right? A lot of the contact centers where humans are responding today, that is going to start getting automated with AI because AI can speak, AI can understand, AI can take actions. You want a password reset? You don't have to talk to a human. AI can do that for you. So those are the places where the voice AI modality is going to kick in. And then people will start getting comfortable with it. And over a period of time, you will start seeing that going into different parts. A restaurant booking, front office of a dentist, sales and marketing processes, all of it will start getting voice modality.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's going to be more universal than we think moving forward. And I mean, maybe we don't have to spend too much time on it, but why do you think that it kind of fell out of practice, maybe on the home front? Because I do have 2 of the mini HomePods at my house. To be quite frank, I kind of use it only because of the ecosystem and being able to use them as speakers and stuff like that. I quite frankly think Siri is a steaming pile of garbage at the moment in comparison to everything else that exists. Like, just to be frank, but like if you compare it to the other tools, but why do you have one? And what's really frustrating is it doesn't even use the cheap ET like capability that released on all the other iOS devices. And I'm like, I love this for,
it's not even plugged in, right? It doesn't work, right? Why would I plug it in? It's just when I call somebody Sri, it'll just light up. I was calling somebody else, but Siri would just, I think the reason why it was not working is because the voice modality was not working, and the actionability of like the real usage of that was not exactly. So I can ask anybody, what are you using Siri for? I'm sure they are going to say 2 things: to set alarm, to set reminders.
Set alarm, set reminder. Ask what the weather is, maybe play. And the playing music for me is the only thing that I'm like, all right, that's kind of nice. And when I'm cooking and stuff, but like it's the worst by far from my understanding versus Alexa or even Google Home. But hopefully they'll improve that moving forward, because that's the rumor mill. The rumor mill is claiming that they're going to do a complete overhaul, but they've been saying that since 2017. So
yeah, Apple has a lot to catch up on Apple Intelligence in general. But overall, the voice paradigm, I think, did not pan out because the ability of the agent wasn't there to understand what a human is saying in a very, very natural way. and then being able to take actions very organic way, it wasn't that easy, but I think it'll all get settled. The voice paradigm will get better. A lot of the things that we are using will have voice kind of going in deeper. um, it's just taking its own time, because we have gotten used to, if you look at it, when did we start using a keyboard and mouse? It is like decades ago, so everything takes its own time to kind of come into our world when it comes to change management.
Yeah, and I guess the fair follow-up question to that would be when do you think kind of the change will come universally in regards to some of these sales and marketing practices being AI-ified, AI agentified, however you say this, completely across the spectrum?
So it's almost like asking, it's difficult to say, because I saw you drinking water, right? My question would be, which drop did you drink to curb your thirst, right? It's not probably in the first drop. It's probably in the last drop. It's somewhere in the middle,
Somewhere in there, yeah.
right? So it's almost like that. So when would a company be AI, using AI for sales and marketing? I would argue that probably most of them are already using AI in some form or fashion, but it's for either low value tasks, or it is just for content generation, or it is just for Salesforce data entry, or is it just for conversational intelligence, deal review, whatever, like some small thing. It is absolutely being used for back office things today more than the front office things today. So there are a bunch of these things, but I would say that in the next 2 to 4 years, we are going to see significant penetration of AI happening into the sales and marketing organizations across enterprise and SMB. Obviously, SMB will adopt first, mid market will adopt second, then enterprises will adopt more. But I think it is already happening in a pretty significant way, and this journey is for the next 10 years or 20 years. So it's going to be like a really long road. And whatever we are seeing right now is still very, very early.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good explanation. I think the somewhere in the sip, yeah, of water
Yeah.
was I satiated, but I don't know where it is. Yeah, and it's a fair point. That
Yeah.
I think and do you think how much do you think is just like time and adoption, and how much do you think it's like a lack, and this could be a part of it, a lack of trust by companies that it can do what it can do, and also capability? Because you said enterprise capability already probably there, right? So do you think it's just a matter of
Yeah.
trust and time?
That's a very good question. I think it's a combination. So the enterprise change management is a real problem, right? Like, we have a way in which we have been doing business for many, many years, and then just because you have this external agent or tool that comes through, you're not going to be able to completely change it. And in the agentic paradigm, the biggest problem is, I'll give this as an example. We have people dying on our roads every single day because of human errors. But if Tesla kills somebody, we are going to learn about it. Every single media house is going to report it, right? Because in the world, we have built this world to be okay with human errors, right? We have checks and balances, whether it is within a company or out there on the road. There are checks and balances for human mistakes. But if the agentic policy of mistake, we are yet to figure out in an enterprise. We know that salespeople are saying all the wrong things on sales calls all the time, many salespeople. But can an AI say one wrong thing? Can AI hallucinate even once? The answer in most cases is no, we cannot have AI hallucinate. So if you are waiting for AI to be 100% accurate, you are never going to get AI in, right? So that is the journey that companies are on. Just like how we are okay with humans making mistakes, how we have checks and balances. The policy shouldn't be like AI shouldn't be making a mistake. The policy should be like, when AI makes a mistake, here is what's going to happen, right? And enterprises need to kind of internalize this thought process. So that will take time, right? A company like a Microsoft or a Google or some of these bigger companies, they cannot simply accept that AI is going to just make a mistake, and that's that. That's why an SMB is going to adopt it first, because it's okay. Nobody is going to sue a 40 people company, try to get $2 million out of them. So
No,
again,
no.
I know that it's not a direct answer that I gave, but that is the challenge that the world is grappling with. And Dimitri, honestly, on the other side, right? Unlike any other technology revolution, this is the speed of the build out, the capability build out is happening way too fast for the adoption to catch up. How much have we built out from a capex standpoint? Like a trillion, 1.1 trillion? I don't know. Like last I checked, it was 900 billion. I'm sure it has gone crossed a trillion by now. And then OpenAI is saying that they are going to give 300 million to Nvidia, and Oracle is saying that they got like 300 billion from OpenAI, whatever, right? So some crazy number. So we are talking about 1.1 trillion of build out that has happened in a capex. And to back up on the actual AI revenue numbers, how much do we have? I mean, 15 billion by OpenAI, 10
Yeah.
billion by Anthropic. And Cursor is making some money, Lovable is making money. Half of that directly goes to Anthropic. The other half is their revenue. So, like, let's say 40, 50 billion is the active revenue that we have. And people who are listening to this, if we are going wrong here, call us out and tell that it's not 50, it is 70. That's fine. But there is a big gap between where the revenue is and where the capability build out is. There's like $1 trillion difference between them, right? So the $1 trillion difference is the adoption curve. So people have to adopt it to a point where the revenue matches the capex build out that is happening, at least at some level, right? So that's going to take time. The reason why we are kind of impatient about AI adoption is because the capability build has been going way too fast for the adoption to catch up.
Yeah, I think it's a very fair point. Like the problem with a lot of companies right now and where they're at, I think is, I've said this many times on the show, so hope maybe people don't think we're belaboring the point, but tell me the last time an associate was good at their job. Yeah. Like not to say it too rude, but tell me the last time, and the joke there is like, well, they're not going to be an associate that much longer if they're good at their job, right? They're going to be promoted. So that there's this level of like inadequacy in new hires, whether it be because they're new to the industry, new to the workforce, or just they struggle at jobs consistently and whatever it is. And that tells me that you're willing to accept 60% of the time as a good, right?
Yeah.
And it's like across the board in every industry. And they're like, oh, it's only right 90% of the time. I'm like, do you hear yourself? Like, you're not okay with this person, and you've been paying them like between insurance and their associate. I'm like, I know what the median salary is in this state. I know it's probably like $60,000, plus you have to pay for salary tax, plus you have to pay their Social Security. I'm like, so you're spending $7,800 a month practically, and you're okay with 60%. You're not okay with like $300 a month for like 90. That's kind of wild, don't you think?
Yeah. It is the policy to my earlier point, right? We have the policy when a human underperforms.
And what do you do?
We don't have a policy. Yeah, so you just have to prep the world there, and it's a change management problem. It'll take time, and we should all just be patient about it. There are some markets in AI that are at PMF, which is like coding agent. Clearly, that market is at PMF. Whether Cursor is gonna make it, who knows? Probably yes, probably no. Like we thought Windsurf was gonna make it, it did not. It got dismantled in the middle. A good outcome for at least the investors and people involved. May not be for the employees, but overall a good outcome. But like we don't know which companies are gonna win, but like the application building space, like the Lovables of the world space is at PMF. Coding agent space is at PMF. But some of the other spaces in AI, they are not at PMF yet. Go-to-market AI is clearly not at PMF. There's no go-to-market AI company that is like inflecting like crazy. And again, listeners, if you know a company that is inflecting like Cursor, let us know. I'm happy to be considered wrong. I actually would love to be wrong here.
I agree with you. I don't think there is.
Yeah. The other things that seem to be inflecting pretty well is the vertical AI stuff, right? The industry-specific vertical AI companies, they seem to be doing pretty well. There's a significant amount of services also that are going along with the AI. So they are literally doing services, FDEs, forward deployed engineers, and delivering that outcome to the vertical industry companies. And there the growth is pretty good actually. So those are the places where AI is starting to see the PMF, but everything will get PMF. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. It's something where maybe like what we acknowledged with Steve Jobs earlier, it was early, right? And with Siri. Oh, I shouldn't have said their name. And see, I got something. I got stuff. I got everything reacting now. Nope, I wasn't talking to
Yeah.
you. All right, shouldn't have said the name, but with the S person, and it's very interesting. And I guess from your perspective, then you're in a position where you don't feel like there is that big company right now. What do you like focus on a day-to-day basis as a co-founder in a company like yours to make sure that you're providing value to current clients and customers and trying to bring in more customers and, improving the product in order to kind of get that product market fit?
Our job is to help the customers get to that paradigm, right? That's simply
Mm,
it. For us, see, we are a boat, and for us to win, the tide has to rise. That's it. So
mm,
our job is to
mm.
rise the tide, right? And the boat will automatically float. So our job is to kind of get the message out to the world. Here is how you can bring AI to the go-to-market AI strategy that you have. Right. Here is how you can improve the go-to-market. Here is the step-by-step process that you can do. We recently rolled out a white paper on AEO, answer engine optimization. Uh, we put in a ton of work into that white paper. We got so many people thanking us, for that white paper, because it really added a ton of value, because people are confused beyond doubt on what this answer engine optimization is. And there are a lot of vendors who are also confusing people, and then there are some vendors who are playing it in the right way. It's a AI is generally confusing to buyers. So our job is to help the buyers see through some of these noise that they have, and help set the expectations that AI is not the magic wand that Harry Potter got. Right, that's a different wand. AI is not that one, right? So don't think that the elder wand is
The
gonna
magic.
come, wave, and your enterprise is gonna become Hogwarts, right? Not happening. So set the expectations, not promise the world. Help them see through the noise. Yesterday, ChatGPT introduced this instant checkout feature, right? You can buy from ChatGPT in Etsy and a couple of other places. Stripe launched a bunch of things alongside. So I wrote out an email, and we sent that out to a bunch of prospects and customers saying, here is the launch, here is what that means for your business, and here is what you can do about it to get ahead of it. Right? And people responded back saying that, thank you, I did not even know that that launch happened. Because it is not their job to know that Sora 2 launched. It is our job. And once we know that, we inform our customers that is our job. So help them see through the noise, inform them what's happening, what it means to their world, and setting the right expectation. This is what we do. We consistently do it enough, and then customers, when they are adopting it, they'll automatically choose Docket.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's sure. And I guess just from an internal standpoint at your company, right? Um, it's got to be interesting. Getting more into general AI questions for a moment here. I think it's been really good to learn about what you guys are doing and your thoughts. And what do you think is going to be the general adjustment for day-to-day tasks and day-to-day tasks being impacted by AI agents on a consistent basis? And what do you think the path is for that? Because I've interviewed some people. I just interviewed the head of a AI department at a company, which is actually kind of crazy that we have those now. And he's essentially in his personal time going to each department and trying to improve what they're doing, right? With
Yeah.
the yeah. What do you think kind of the method is for people to get their tasks lessened across an entire company through AI in general? Because obviously you have your own specific like thing you're doing, and maybe at your company right now you're trying to see on the bookends like email, this, that, and the other thing. Like, how do you feel like this is going to happen internally at your company, and maybe how it'll happen at other companies too? AI and agentically decrease the workload across the board.
Let me start with the North Star of what companies should aim for, and then I'll try to pave a way to get there, right? The North Star is, back in the day when people were starting to become leaders or managers, you would teach them how to be a delegator, right? Here is how you delegate. And the
Mm,
thumb rule is, every time you get a task, your thought process is, who on my team will do this task better? And should I keep it or not? So these are the two questions a good delegator asks, right? So give find the right person and hand off the task or responsibility to that person. Keep only the things that you can add value to yourself, right? This is how you become a good delegator. Now, in the AI world, the North Star of your company should be every time a human is getting a task, their first thought process is, how do I get AI to do this? If you can get
Sure.
all of your team members to think that way, you're an AI native company and you will automatically find the right tools and services because people are smart. They will figure it out. So, this is the North Star. Now, how do you do that? How do you do that is by showing a bunch of examples, right? So, for example, whenever I get something, after every single sales call that I do, I have a project that is set up in ChatGPT that automatically takes the transcript, that automatically creates an email for me, that creates a call summary for me, that creates a business justification for me. It automatically updates my Salesforce. It sets up a follow-up task for me in Salesforce. The whole thing is done by AI, right? That's one thing that I do that AI is kind of giving me a lot of leverage. When I did that, I took that and I put it into my Slack and said, hey guys, here is how I am doing it. So share examples, whether it is your example, whether it is the example that you found to be amazing on Twitter, just take them, keep sharing it with people and encourage the top people in your company, the executives in the company to go AI native first. And if you need an external consultant to help them out, get that external consultant to make sure your executive is becoming AI first. If your leaders are AI first, your team is starting to become AI native. The last thing that I'd say to not make the answer too big, humans are controlled by incentives strictly.
Mm,
That's it. So if you cannot
it's true.
incentivize, then the behavior will not change. If you want a salesperson to sell a particular product, you include a spiff for that product for that quarter, they'll sell the shit out of that product that quarter, right? That's the incentive. So if you look at a company like a Zapier or many of the AI companies, their hiring strategy now starts with, yeah, if you're not AI native, don't apply, right? So the incentives have to be aligned. So when you have your bonus structures, look at how much AI they are using. Look at the analytics of the AI tools that they are using. If they are not leveraging it enough, that should impact their bonus. If they are using it enough, give them more bonus because they are actually saving money for your company. So find the right incentives to make sure that you are giving the pat on the back for the right people to going AI native, right? And then showcase people, like in your monthly all hands, just showcase a person how they went AI native to the entire company. The company will automatically go AI native. So these are the fundamental things. This is regular change management that you have to handle, but this is how you should handle it.
I think this is a very good point. I think you're spot on here because incentive structures are what make the world go around and especially what make business go around. But I don't necessarily think a lot of people are doing a great job of handling incentive structures for AI at their company. They're like, oh, you guys should really try to do this. You should use it.
Yeah.
Right. There's not like a necessary playbook or, incentive structure. So I think totally on board with it here. I think you're onto something. So yeah, no, that's a great point. I had considered the incentives. That's the first time we've gotten that answer. So thank you for that.
Perfect. I believe that executives are in the right task or at the right vantage point to decide what are some of the top problems that should be solved using AI. See, the best way to bring in the right AI to your company is to start either from a problem statement or from a KPI that you want to impact, or from like a solve a pain for a particular segment of people that you have. It goes back to the first one kind of. So problem and KPI. So in most cases, executives know the top pain points in the company. You ask a hands-on CEO, hands-on COO, hands-on CRO, hands-on CIO, operational leaders in companies, they know where the bottlenecks in the companies are, right? So the mistake that the leaders are doing is they give very open-ended direction to their team saying, go implement AI. That is too open-ended. Don't do that. You know the pain points, right? So you spend the time to figure out those pain points and hand it off to the right person. If it is in revenue, give it to RevOps people and say, our our conversion on our website today is too low. It is 0.67%. I want it to be at 0.92%. Go figure out the AI that can help me get there. That is the right direction. But executives shying away from that gets everybody going into 100 different directions. That is when you have to now implement a head of AI committee, an AI committee that is trying to pull back, reel back all these different initiatives happening. But if you have been more directional, directive giving, more convicted at the top about these are the problems I need to fix, then people will run into lesser set of directions, and it's easier to reel it back in.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I didn't consider that either. I guess, we are kind of coming close to time here. So just want to give you the opportunity to speak to anything last but not least kind of that you'd like to share about AI in general, and obviously what you're doing at Docket.io.
With AI, I think here is my parting thought, I guess. Fantastic discussion, by the way.
Thank you.
I
Appreciate
enjoyed
it.
the whole thing. I think what you need is a quick win. So please don't take projects that are going to take 9 months to deliver. Who knows? You might not be in your seat by then. I'm being honest. I see during our deal cycles, you wouldn't believe how many people who we are talking to is not there by the time the deal cycle is ending. Right? It's crazy. People are letting go of companies are letting go of a lot of people these days. So what you need is a quick AI win where you can say, this was the problem, this was the solution, this was the impact, this was the lift. That's it. Right? And the moment you are in a position to go and present it to your executive and at your all hands, at your board meeting, that is when you are getting valued. So don't go for like the big swanky transformation project that you have done in the digitization world or like the SaaS world. That was a different world. In AI, you need to pick something small, not a point solution. You need a vendor that can do more than just a point solution for you, but get a quick win under the radar. Do a pilot, 3 months, KPI, here is a success metric, get it done and show that, and that will get you the confidence, and people are going to let you do more after that. So that would be my 2 cents. With Docket, for example, right? This is what we tell our customers. Hey, with Docket, you're going to sign. In 20 days, we are going to make you go live. 2 weeks after that, you're going to get the first set of additional leads. And in about 3 to 4 months, you're going to get to, 2x ROI, right? And we will put the report together for you to present to your leaders. Easy enough, right? So if you're a marketer, this is what you need to do. It's a low hanging fruit. So focus there, get a quick win under your belt. That's what will enable you to do a lot more.
Wow. Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. And by the way, I enjoyed this conversation as well. And, I want everybody to go check out the website Docket.io. That's their domain, Docket.io, for Arjun and everything him and his co-founder are doing over there. I think we're really happy and glad to have had you on the show, and just everyone listening, as well as Arjun. Make sure to leave a review on the podcast so we can help out those ratings for Arjun and get the good word out about what he's doing over there at Docket.io. For those of you who are also not subscribed on our YouTube channel, please make sure to do that. We primarily get a lot of viewers over there, so we'd appreciate that as well. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.